I'm going to put this right up front. God absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, honors the very esteemed role of a step-parent, that divinely appointed relationship. The Bible illustrates in great detail the lengths that God has gone to orchestrate and set up the most beautiful father and son and mother and daughter relationships, not only biological ones, but also ones that are formed through adoption and through marriage. I just wanted to highlight a couple of these examples. So in Luke, we see that Joseph was the son of Heli, H-E-L-I, through the virtue of his marriage to Mary. In Luke also, we see the biological genealogy of Jesus on his mother Mary's side. It's actually broken down into 76 generations all the way back to Adam. But you know what's especially remarkable is that in Matthew, we see that God takes the time to break down Jesus's genealogy on his stepfather's side, on Joseph's side. You know why this is cool? Is because it shows Jesus's inheritance from the Davidic line, his Davidic heritage in royalty. Which is a great segue to highlight my second observation. So on Joseph's side, if we look at the 14 generations from Abraham to David, and the 14 generations from David to the deportation to Babylon, and then 14 generations from the deportation of Babylon to the Messiah, Jesus, you can't help but notice that there is a huge amount of detail even in one little story. You take all of those generations, and if you think about what God did and what God orchestrated in just one of those stories, you can have a great appreciation for that when you just read Ruth. David is the grandson of Obed. So Ruth moves to Judah with her mother-in-law, Naomi, and she ends up marrying Boaz, and she ends up having a baby. And guess who that little baby is? Obed. And that's just one of the stories from all of those generations and generations and generations and generations. That's just a huge amount of detail involved in one of those stories. And God did all of that just so that Joseph could be exactly who he needed to be, a wonderfully ordained and anointed and perfectly designed stepfather to Jesus. Right after a divine sonship is established, immediately following that, naysayers will come in and try to discredit the importance of that relationship. We can see an example of this in Luke when God says to Jesus, "You are my beloved son." And then shortly after that, Satan comes to Jesus and says, "So, if you're really the Son of God..." So here's my point. When God brings together a family, he does so perfectly and with great intention.